Hello guys, Red is Great here. Welcome back to another video on the channel. A few things I want to go over before we actually get into the video. Redoing my whole channel. We'll be doing just political videos only. I've said this before in the past and I kind of didn't stay true to it, but redid the channel. Everything's different. This will be episode 1 of the new series of alternate history elections. Elections that could have happened pretty easily, actually. To where this lecture we're going to take is 2004, if Al Gore was president. We don't really need to go over the backstory of how this works. Let's just say Gore wins Florida. There's not a recount, or he just wins. He just wins. We don't need to go into depth because it's so easy to predict. So we have Al Gore, incumbent Al Gore. I think everything would mostly stay the same. We would probably have Afghanistan still. I don't think we would have Iraq. But let's just say everything goes exactly the same. Gore is president. Basically 2004 if a Democrat was the incumbent. So a few of the interesting states I have, Tennessee and the South won't really be that competitive. I know Gore's from there. He did pretty well there in 2000, but they would have shifted so far to the right by now that they just want to be competitive. And Texas and Arizona are not competitive. They were still safe states until roughly around 2012. 2016 actually, they became somewhat competitive. So first, let's go to the Wikipedia article and look at 2004 in our life. What happened IRL? Incumbent George W. Bush. Actually, it was a really close election. On the map, electoral map wise, when you're looking at it, it doesn't look that close. Looks like a landslide, but no, it's because the election came on to Ohio. There were some sus things going on there. There are rumors that Kerry actually went to Ohio and Kerry became president. Kerry could have became president but lost the popular vote. Bush is the last GOP nominee to win the popular vote, and he only won it by around 3 points. Not that big of a margin. He won Florida by a decent margin. He won a lot of states. He flipped a few Gore states that Gore won in 2000. There's just a random faithless elector in Minnesota that voted for John Edwards. This is a very interesting election. I'm not going to go too in depth to IRL because that's not what this video is about. But why is John McCain the GOP nominee? Because in 2000 he was the runner-up, and Bush probably wouldn't want his political career would probably have died, or he probably could have become governor or senator or a representative. I don't know. Let's not go in too deep into that, but let's start, I guess. So we're going to go in and start with the states. The lean states for John McCain. Now I already have all the safe states that would have been safe. California IRL was around only 9 or 10 points, a likely or even lean margin, but Gore would probably win it by around 12 plus. 12 plus is safe. I'll put my margins in the description and comments. I haven't gone over my margins before. Everyone has different margins. So we'll look at the lean states for John McCain. John McCain would win North Carolina and Virginia by a lean margin. North Carolina would be actually likely, thinking about it now. It still wasn't that competitive. Bush won it by IRL. Bush won the state of North Carolina by around 12 points. Yeah, 12.44. Even though John Edwards was on the ticket, he didn't really help. Edwards was not the most popular figure at the time, really. But I think McCain would still win it. Same with Virginia, because you got to remember, this is before the suburban shift really started to kick in. It started kicking around 2008 and became full swing around 2016. Gore would do a lot better in these states. He would probably get them kind of close. But McCain, the suburbs wouldn't have shifted to the left enough to where Gore could have a chance of winning at these states. So I do think McCain will still win these states. So yeah. Next, let's go to the West Coast, actually. Oregon. Let's go and do that for Gore. It would be... Oh, no, shoot. I think it would be likely. Oregon was competitive in 2000. Actually, in 2000, it was pretty close. In 2004, actually, it was pretty close, actually. It was only around 4 points. 4 points in Oregon for a Democrat? That's not good at all. That's, it was considered a toss-up, actually. Gore barely won it in 2000. In 2000, Gore only won it by around a point. That's not that good for a Democrat. Nowadays, if you won Oregon by like 3 points, you know you messed up. Oregon's, nowadays is safe blue, but... Next, Nevada, a state that voted for George Bush in 2000. Let me go back. It voted for Bush by a decent margin, by around 3 or 4 points. 2 points, 2.6. As you see, Kerry won Clark County and Gore won Washoe and, I guess Carson City, I think that's what it's called. It was a swing state or lean towards Bush. Now, I think Gore would narrowly carry it by around a point, 2 points. Under a point, that's considered tilt. 1.5. I think Gore would narrowly carry the state of not North Carolina, I'm sorry, Nevada. He would do well with Hispanic voters. Since he would have that wartime boost, he would carry Nevada. Next is Oregon and New Mexico. New Mexico is a state that Gore actually won in 2000. And actually, fun fact, it was closer than Florida. Let me see this. 0.79. Is it no, that says it was won by? Oh, I'm looking at 2004. Wrong thing, sorry. It was won by 366 votes. New Mexico decided. No one really cared about it because it wouldn't really have mattered if Gore or Bush won it. They still would have lost. It just, like, no one really cared. No one really cared about it. Everyone was focused on the Florida recount. So, yeah. It would go to him with the same margin. Colorado. I think Gore would narrowly carry Colorado by around a point. Bush won the state in 2004 by around 3 points, 4 points. He did very well in the Denver suburbs and did very well in these areas down there with Hispanics. It was considered a red state. Both campaigns targeted it. Bush carried Colorado by about half the amount he won in 2000. He won it by around 8 in 2000, which is pretty good. Next, Florida. 2004, Florida. Actually, I think it was around. It was on 5. As you look on this map, it looks really freaking weird how Bush won, like, St. Lucie and Duval, and, I can't remember those two counties called. But Bush won places like Pinellas, the county where St. Petersburg is, Duval, Seminole. The state wasn't really, I'm pretty sure it was. Bush won it by a comfortable margin, and there was actually a lot of talk saying, will Florida have a recount again? Will this election hinge on Florida again? I think Gore would only carry it by under a point. I think this would be very close, actually. Yeah, I'll do lean. It'll be a lean margin. He would carry it by around 2 points, 3 points. He would do enough well with Hispanics and in southern Florida and in the Panhandle, because I think Gore could get a little bit of ancestral Dem support, but not enough to where it would really matter in the southern states. So yeah. Now, the Rust Belt, the place that would determine this election. Minnesota, I think it would be lean, a lean state. I don't think it was competitive in 2004. It was only 3 points for Kerry. It almost flipped. As you see, you have the Blue Iron Range, and the suburbs around Minneapolis are pretty red. I think Gore would do well enough in the Iron Range and in the suburbs. McCain probably would try targeting it, but it would still stay in the Gore column. Next will be the state of Iowa. This was actually a state Bush flipped from 2000, where it voted for Al Gore, and it was really close. It was only about 10,000 votes he won by. shockingly. And you see it's a lot of light red and a lot of light blue counties. Yeah, Gore only won it by around 4,000 votes in 2000, so I think Gore would do well enough with the light working class there. He would probably carry it. He would probably carry it around the same margin. Iowa's always been like a weird state. It's always been either really close or not competitive. I think it would be under a point. I think McCain would do well enough in the rural areas and the suburbs that he could probably carry it, but I think Gore would hold on to it. Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania would all be around maybe 2-3 points. IRL, the Rust Belt actually was shockingly close. Wisconsin, as you see from the map, it doesn't look close at all. It really doesn't. It's very deceiving, but only under a point margin victory for John Kerry. It had very close. Not the exact vote, doesn't have the exact same voter total, but yeah, around 10,000 votes. That's actually, I think Wisconsin was closer in 2004 than 2020, which is really funny. Michigan wasn't that close. Kerry won it by around 3. It was considered a toss-up, but Kerry still won it. It's Maryland. Pennsylvania. That was around 2 points. I think Gore would carry them by around the same amount, possibly. Next, Ohio. Oh yeah, Gore's elected president, by the way. He's president now. No President John McCain, unfortunately. Or fortunately, depending on how you look at it. Ohio would be tilt. Because IRL, record lowest turnout from Ohio. Oh, that's interesting. Bush carried it by around 2 points, but as I said, there was some pretty sus things, I guess you could say, pretty suspicious things that the GOP did in Ohio. So, who knows, this may not be the actual result. I'm not trying to say voter fraud or the GOP cheated. No, I mean, there's been kind of proof of some sus things, but honestly, I don't really care. I don't really want to go into that. So I think this will be close because Bush would do well enough. Not Bush. McCain would do well enough in the suburbs around Cincinnati and especially in Hamilton County. Because Hamilton County at the time was a Republican stronghold. And I think Kerry would do well enough in these white working class areas. I keep saying Kerry and Bush. I'm sorry. I keep saying this is 2004. McCain and Gore. Yes. He would win it. Oh, nope, I accidentally did safe blue Oklahoma. No, not this election, unfortunately. New Hampshire, I would do lean. New Hampshire is actually a state Kerry flipped in 2000, weirdly enough. Kerry actually flipped one state, and it was the state of New Hampshire. It was only around a point. It's considered a swing state. Bush won in 2000, and it's considered, Republican leaning. Kerry mostly won it due to him being from neighboring New Hampshire. Neighboring Massachusetts and Maine at the time was pretty solid for Democrats. They performed really well in the northern areas. So yeah, he carried it pretty easily. I think the second district would probably be likely. Maine at large, and the first district would be safe. Maine wasn't really competitive for the GOP until around 2016, when the northern part, really, the second district, shifted to the left. I mean, the right. So this is the election. Al Gore's been re-elected president, 324 to 213. This is my prediction, my opinion. Yours may be different. You could have McCain winning. But I think due to the war on terror and stuff, which would probably still happen, Gore would hold on by a decent margin. But unfortunately, 2008 would mean there would be a Republican landslide, most likely. Because maybe John Kerry or Obama would run, or heck, Joe Lieberman could run. Yeah, interesting guy. So anyways, guys, that's it for today's video. A very long video, 14 minutes, but, it's very interesting, very in-depth. I want to start making these videos longer and go more in depth into these videos. But anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoy. Like, subscribe, leave suggestions down in the comments, and yeah, see you guys later.